I'm gonna be honest, I'm not fully comprehending what you just said.
Because it wasn't for you. Tiff.
It wasn't for me.
Tiff, look at my face. It wasn't for you. That's ballroom to ballroom, but that wasn't for you.
Because she, to me...
It's not for you. Shh.
Okay.
It's not for you.
All right, that part.
Lord nipped that in the bud.
Lord was like,
She gave, look at me.
No.
Said you wanna be a legend. A statement, a star. Said you wanna be a legend. A statement, a star. I'm so, all I really wanna be is an icon or a statement. No, it's legendary. I'm so, all I really wanna be is an icon or a statement. No, it's legendary. Legendary. I'm legendary. I'm legendary.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to The Let Out, a legendary podcast. I'm your host, Michael Street. We are officially in the semifinals of Season 2, and it's time to get a little wild. This week, houses participated in the Electric Jungle Ball that put them through 4 different challenges. In the first, each house put on an all-house production featuring one voguing element and one person in a bizarre effect. For the 3rd week in a row, the house of Miyake Mugler knocked it out of the park and got the highest score of the category. The second category was Virgin Vogue with a tag team element. Virgin Vogue essentially means someone who hasn't walked that category before, and this time it was about old way versus new way performance. As sometimes happens, all the houses were chopped except for one, which was again the house of Miyake Mugler. For the 3rd category, the houses competed in arms control, and Cha Cha Balenciaga was able to snatch the victory. The 4th and final category was a 2-part sex siren situation. Tati Mugler's twerking secured her house its 3rd category win of the night and their 3rd Superior Trophy win of the season. Sadly, it was the House of Garçon that went home. Here with us today, we have the house's overall godmother, Stasha Garçon, and house member Milan Garçon to talk about their time on the show and what it was really like to be the underdogs of the season.
Femme queen power, honey. Femme queen.
The House of Garçon definitely has something to prove, and you will see it when we hit the floor.
Hey, Stasha, how are you?
I'm good, Michael. How are you?
Good. Hey, Milan, what's up?
What's good, Michael? How are you?
Good. Welcome to The Let Out. I want to get right into everything, and I actually want to take us back to you guys' final episode and the end of it, mostly because I'm a little nosy. But there was this moment, Stasha, between you and Shannon Balenciaga, where you guys had this really, really sweet moment on stage, and it left me wondering a little bit about what happened there. So if you're comfortable, I'd love to hear a little bit about what we were seeing on stage in that moment.
Well, Michael. Before that even happened, things had started to, I felt with energy-wise, things had started to change. And I just wasn't feeling like the positive, great energy that I was feeling from the beginning. And when she was giving her little speech on the stage, I just had to say something at that time because it felt right. It felt like I had to say it because I'm walking around here and I'm not getting spoken to. It's like very like, oh, hey. And I just felt like that was not the same energy that I got when I first got here to the show. So during that moment, I spoke up and said, well, that's not what I've been getting. Because that's what I had been feeling. I had been feeling like, things are not the same. And there was only one way to do it was in that moment, because I didn't want to just leave feeling like, why didn't I say something? Why didn't I approach the situation by stating that, the energy was off and the energy was different. So during that moment, I just spoke up and said something and she was, she said her piece. And then after we got off stage, she also came back and gave her piece again and said that she was really sorry because she has the utmost respect for me. Those were her words. So yeah, that's what happened.
Did you guys have a relationship prior?
Yes, I've been knowing Shannon since some years back. She used to hang around a lot of my kids. I don't know if you know, but I have a lot of kids in the community. I have like over 50 something children outside of ballroom. So she would hang around a lot of them, and it brought me around also. And I knew her from there. And then also another friend of ours that we were connected through. And we've also hung out. So I of course, yeah, I knew that lady.
We are absolutely going to talk a little bit about your kids later, but I actually also wanted to pull in Milan. Something else that I noticed in the final episode was you were counting the numbers, doing the math to see what you guys had to do to make it. And I was wondering if you sort of served that role throughout the season of like, yeah, okay, you know, this might have happened here, but like I did the math and this is what we need to like push through in other balls as well.
Well, I was definitely counting the digits at that ball because it was just seeming like the numbers wasn't adding up to what we were presented on the stage. So I'm like trying to adjust the numbers versus like what other categories we're walking this night and like really trying to see like, okay, we have to like excel in this. We have to excel in this category so we can at least just be safe because I mean, everybody wants to be top house, but really the name of the game is making it to the next week, getting closer to the $100,000. So I don't think I was the only one from my house that season. I think everybody was probably counting like in their head, like, okay, these are the scores. But I do know the whole season, I would definitely try to keep everybody on the same page, no matter what score we got, because I'm like, we still got challenges. We can still make this happen. So in that episode, I just knew I couldn't breathe in that corset. So if I couldn't do nothing else, I was going to help count. I was going to help count the scores because it was a very to the wire episode. I mean, barely any houses left.
Right. So something that I also want to talk about, this is about the entire season, a little bit about the dancing of it all. Because from my recollection of knowing each individual person in this house and of knowing of your work, y'all are known for performance within the scene. First, correct me if I'm wrong. And then secondly, tell me how it was coming into a show that people know and think about mostly for performance with the specific team that you guys did.
Well, I know like coming onto the show, all of our categories in ballroom aren't the quote unquote performance categories. And I think when you're not in the ballroom and you're watching a show like this, they say like all house performance, but that's the actual category in ballroom, performance as a house. But outside of the ballroom scene, I know all of us are performers. You know, Stasha is international, right. Miss Continental. Like I definitely do runway. I've been a theater kid. I know most of us in our house, like that were on the show, most of us, like we had training outside of, you know, necessarily ballroom Vogue performance. So it wasn't hard to put on a show every week because we have the icon, Sasha Sanchez, sitting there directing us, putting us through Icon Hall of Fame boot camp. So the productions, I think, were not hard for us to put together. It was just, you know, when you have a lot of heads in one room thinking of ideas under pressure, you know, sometimes it could get a bit like chaotic, but Stasha was always there just to reel it back in, make sure we had a streamlined performance with a story. And the biggest challenge, I think, for us was just being hard on ourselves because we know that we are not Voguers as our first category. Now, there are plenty of us that like Egypt, like in the Kiki Scene Vogues. I've walked a Virgin performance before like the pandemic started. I know Savion started off as a Butch Queen Vogue femme. So it's not like we don't have any like Stasha face with like hands, like all of that kind of goes together. So we were still able to pull from those areas to be able to get the job done on stage. But I think that's what made us different.
Milan, you just mentioned sort of being in boot camp on the show. Before the show, were y'all, you know, in there drilling, specifically like voguing in the studio before y'all went to the show?
Actually, we didn't get together until we got to LA. Once we got to LA, they had already started rehearsals. I was still in quarantine. And I just remember one night, they said, you can come out tonight. You can come out tonight. Like, I think it was like 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. It was late. And it was like, you can come out tonight. You can come out. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll come to rehearse and see what y'all got going on over here and let me see. And that's when everything started. You know, being in the pageant world for over almost 30 years, and performing and traveling around the world, performing and doing productions, like I can put stuff together if I see it, right? So Milan could be in that voguing, you know, because she's hyper. So she's all, you know, she's carrying on. You know, you got Savion carrying on. They all voguing and having fun. And I'll be like, no, what's that? Do that again. I like that. We could put this with here, you know, and that's how a lot of things came together. We all collectively worked together as a whole, and we just brought great entertainment to the show. You know what I'm saying? And I think when it comes to popularity outside of the show, That's the House of Garcon, baby.
So, Stasha, you mentioned this before. You are known both in ballroom as an icon and a Hall of Famer, but outside the scene as well as, you know, a legend and an icon, particularly within drag. I remember talking to Tamisha Iman a few weeks ago, and she mentioned knowing you from the Atlanta circuit. And when I used to cover drag, I knew you as Miss Continental 2018, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. And so I was wondering if you talked about your kids. I know one of your kids is Tyra Sanchez from Drag Race.
That's my granddaughter.
So can you talk to me a little bit about, that legacy and how you came to do all these things?
Well, the Sanchez name came from Lady Fabian Sanchez, which her daughter was Sierra Sanchez, which that's how I got the name. And I got the name in Jacksonville, Florida, some years back. I ain't gonna tell you how long ago, but I got the name some years back. And from there, people gravitated to me and felt like that's what, they wanted to represent, or they saw something in me that they wanted to be a part of. And that's how my family started. So the Sanchez name has traveled. And, even with Tyra, people like to judge her and say all these bad things about her. But, Tyra was 20 years old, 21 years old when she won the show. So she was a baby. And she just felt like she was targeted a lot. So her anger came from finally not saying nothing to exploding, and then she got a bad rep. But, I love my kids. I love my grandkids. I feel like they're doing amazing work out here in the community. A lot of them do community service work. So that's a beautiful thing, when you have your kids out here doing great things.
Can you talk to me about the name Garcon and where sort of how the house got started and how you became involved with it?
The House of Garcon got started around 2009, 2010. Actually, was first talked about and started getting created. It was in Houston, Texas, doing Splash Weekend. That's how it all started to come about. And during that time, I was still Mother Mugler. So I wasn't a Garcon when it first got started. But then I was still around because we were all still family, because we all was coming from the same place. And I just feel like once you have a connection with someone, you don't just walk away from that connection or that friendship because of a separation in a ball family. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's just like somebody getting married to someone else, and you can't just get mad at that person for getting married to someone else. It's loved, and that's where the family bond comes from. Then I also came over around that time. And then I was overall godmother.
So Milan, how did you come to Garcon in ballroom in general?
So I became a Garcon and entered into the ballroom scene in 2018. I had just moved to New York. I graduated from college in 2017, and I always seen and known about the ballroom community just from seeing it online. Of course, when I was young, I saw Paris is Burning, sneaking and watching stuff like that in my house because I'm from Midwest America. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. So the ballroom community wasn't really vibrant and present just on the streets of Cleveland. So I really didn't have any access to it. And then when I moved to New York in 2018, one of the first things I was booked for was to kind of cover OTA ball, or open to all ball, meaning anybody in the scene can come here and enjoy themselves. It's no pressures, not a mini ball or major ball that's gonna affect your ballroom career. You could just come and, have a good time, but still have that ballroom vibe. I went to that, and then literally I heard them call over the microphone. I was done covering the event, and I heard over the microphone, okay, open to all runway is now. And I'm like, this little bitch queen and just I was bald head fish. She used to call me bald head fish at that point because I had this beat mug. I would be in heels and a full ensemble, but I just had my face. So they were just like, oh, look at bald head fish over there. So I was like, well, I know open to all means anybody, and I know runway is me. So let me just get out there and pump. Literally, I didn't know I knew literally the partner that I was working with, collabing for the event. I didn't know anybody there. I knew nobody in the scene. I didn't know anything about the House of Garcon, but I was like, runway is me. I'm walking. That's just my attitude. Boom, let's go. Let's do it. And then I ended up getting my 10. I won one battle. Then I got that. And then I never missed the OTA after that. and then literally maybe 2 months later, I was introduced to a few members in the House of Garcon, Sean Torrington, Twiggy Poochie Garcon, and I was invited to the induction meeting in New York City in June. It was at the beginning of Pride Month, and that is where I joined the house, and I became a Garcon, and from there, the rest is history. Now I'm Drag's Runway of the Year, ready to travel the country and sit the girls down.
Can you talk to me about where ballroom has sort of taken you in that respect? And also, I've always known, whenever I see you, I always see Mermaid as well. So it's actually really funny because I saw, the photos come up and I was like, oh, so Mermaid's gonna do it. And then I was like, okay, maybe, maybe not.
Everybody, that's so crazy. Everybody, before and during, and I'm sure after the show, they've all been like, oh my God, are y'all gonna be on it together? And then when I was missing for a few months, it was so crazy because Mermaid was still traveling. So everybody was like, where's Milan? Where's Milan? And Mermaid was like, she's working. The whole time I'm in LA folding down for Legendary, but we can't say anything. So it was difficult, and Sasha will tell you, I was gagging, not having my sister just as that support system that I'm always used to having. It was so different dealing with the competition and pressures of ballroom without having my other half there, because normally we just pick up the slack with each other. And out there, it was really any insecurity, anything that's off, it's going to show. You can't hide behind your sister, so get it together. But ballroom has really taken my modeling career and pushed it forward because it's given me a place to literally experience. I feel like the best experience is real world experience. Before I joined ballroom, I was a part of the DC modeling community, and I did college modeling and competition. But it's more of a hair show style walk. It's more attitude. It's more it's just more free. It's a lot more I won't say more fun, but it's just more free in each person's walk. But ballroom, the Garçon, they turned my walk into New York Fashion Week walk because I learned straight from the legendary Twinkie Poochie Garçon. She literally beat me and Mermaid's legs in. So the house literally took me from oh, maybe I could walk runway to yeah, I'm going to this casting and I'm going to be in Fashion Week because I've been trained by the best of the best in ballroom.
Stasha, can you talk to me a little? You are a Hall of Famer, and so I want to, at one point, get you to sort of explain what that means to people who are outside of the scene, what that means for ballroom. But also, can you talk to me a little bit about sort of being in the category of face, particularly in Atlanta, and what that was like, and even a little bit about how you sort of changed that category?
Well, first of all, I have to add that they drove me crazy, okay? I had to add that in there. They drove me all crazy boots, okay? But I wouldn't change anything. But but Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer is something that you receive after your icon status, and it's basically telling the community that you've made a staple in ballroom. You have set a mark, you've left a mark, you've left things that people can gravitate to. And that was being a showstopper, bringing the glamour, the gowns, the jewelry, the hair, the rhinestones, the coats, bringing that back into the ballroom category, but turning it into a face look. And walking face just in Atlanta, during my time, it was beautiful because we had so many amazing, beautiful, beautiful women that would hit the floor. And it was just amazing that we would all be in this one room, making so much noise and making so much beautiful history for generations to come to look up to.
When I think about it, I think about sort of it wasn't pageantry, but there was a sense of that pageantry, glamour and extravagance that particularly you and the other face girls in Atlanta at the time sort of brought to face that we still see present today. That's what I always think about. I think even, I don't know if you were at the Miyake Mugler porcelain ball, 2 years ago with the face category, the big face category, but they were in gowns and beads and all that. And I feel all of that is still, latent effects of the impact that you and the rest of the Atlanta scene had.
Well, honestly, that was my doing. The Atlanta scene they wasn't wearing that. They wasn't wearing gowns and stuff when I first started. And I was kind of pushed, talked about, why she wearing all this stuff and she's wearing this pageant stuff and, it was always that. But I was winning. And I think that was a problem. It's because I brought something different. It was glamorous. It was beautiful. And also my skin and face was beautiful too. So, it all worked together. And then that's when I felt like a lot of the girls here in Atlanta started to gravitate to that look and started wearing gowns and makeup and hair and jewelry and all that. And it became a staple, and I'm proud about that. I'm proud that it's an elegant category because when I first saw it, I thought it was something that you would see on the red carpet or on the cover of a magazine.
I mean, that's what we think about now, right? Is that like the face girls, you are the celebrities and like, they're the girls who can come in a room and stop the room without doing anything, right?
Yeah.
Is there a difference for you competing in face as opposed to competing in a pageant?
Well, when I'm competing in pageants, I'm always going to still focus on, skin looking beautiful, glowing, and smile is beautiful, captivating the judges and the audience, because all that works together. You got a beautiful glow, beautiful smile, you're selling it, you're confident, and beautiful garments. Why not think you're still doing a ball? I was still doing all that on stage. And I remember one point, they didn't understand, like, why is she carrying on like this? But it was just like, ballroom and pageantry meets, and I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna make you know it. I'm gonna make you love it. I'm gonna make you understand the power that I got. Okay.
Milan, you were talking a little bit before about sort of being trained by Twiggy and others in the house. And is there any other things that sort of like, members of the House of Garçon taught you about yourself, whether those be like hard skills or things about your identity or anything like that, or more confidence or anything?
On that side, I would definitely probably say my mother Stasha and my sister Mermaid, because I think in the house, we're a very close house, but those two women, I'm like closest to them in our houses. We are a Butch Queen heavy houses, no shade. But when it comes to the women in our house, over the process of like working with Sasha on Legendary, the way she could just look at me and know everything that was going on, whether I was trying to verbally express it or not, she would just like really make me feel comfortable. And she really helped me understand that like I'm gorgeous, whether it's makeup on or not. I have a face, so sell it. And this show really, like, I was able to literally learn from Sasha Sanchez Garçon, the legendary, iconic Hall of Famer and face, literally about her category, and just like literally having her pass that down to me. It just really opened up my eyes, and I was able to kind of see like, oh, well, you can do more. You don't have to just be a runway girl, different categories can be for you. And, on the show, we get to see everybody do a plethora of things that I think really help them grow outside of what they were like already used to and what their ballroom identities and careers are. And then of course, my sister Mermaid, we're both non-binary. We're both like gender non-conforming. The ballroom scene in the beginning when we first joined, they didn't get it. It was given, who are these drags out here? Who are these drag queens out here with no titties, no boobs, no hips, no pants? What are these boys out here doing in this makeup? And then as we continue to just be ourselves, get on the floor, and we both made each other feel more comfortable, pushing that feminine aesthetic, really getting into that drag and realizing, drag is an art. It's not an identity. It's a performance art. So let's take it there. And as we took it there, we gagged because then he gave, well, girl, I'm wearing hair now. Then she gave, well, girl, I'm wearing makeup now. And then we are Eminem. So yeah, I think definitely my house has helped, me explore my identity and explore my other skills that, I'm able to present in ballrooms. I love it.
What was your proudest moment on the season?
My proudest moment, I would have to say, was the entire Frozen Ball. One, it was because I was so nervous to walk face because I had to get Sasha's tins for her to be able to battle. And I know me personally and the other members of our house and the world, everybody knows that there is going to be a face category, and everybody was waiting for Sasha and the other face girls on the show to walk and battle in this category. So I'm like, I cannot fuck this up. Because if I don't get these tins, it's a chop. And one, I've never been chopped. And two, it is not happening. Sasha's about to come out here and grace the girls with the mug. So when I actually got the 10, because also they had me go last. So I was nervous going last because I'm like, everybody already got their 10s. They probably gonna try to play with me and chop me, girl. You know what ballroom gets sometimes is giving, oh, girl, you waited too long to come out there over it. You should have came out in the beginning. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I got out there, I got the 10s, and I was like, whoo, a sigh of relief. And then I was just so proud of Egypt. I was so proud of our house in that moment because it's like, okay, we've touched each part of this competition. We've been at the top. We've been in a tie. We've had an off week. We've been doing good in challenges, like presenting ourselves and stuff. But we finally had to battle to stay here. And we showed that we came to battle and stay as well. So that was like a really proud ball for me. It was like, yeah, y'all never thought we was gonna make it out of the battle zone, and we did. So now what?
So since you brought it up, Stasha, we have to talk about this face category. for a few reasons. First of which was I was looking forward to it mostly because I needed a battle that I have never seen a clip of. Maybe it's never happened. I wanted to see Stasha versus Shannon. That is what I personally wanted to see and was very sad that I did not. But also, everyone, you, the judges, everyone was gagged with the outcome of that face category. And so I just wanted to hear, your thoughts about what happened on that stage.
Well, first of all, I want to say shout out to Legendary because they played in my face.
Mm.
I'm gonna just keep it 100. Like, I felt like it was an insult. You know what I'm saying? Because when you think about the legacy of Face and what so many girls have died, who've paved the way for that category, who have set a mark in the ballroom community, that these women was probably back in the day sneaking out the house and, going to these balls to make a name for themselves. You know what I'm saying? For people to recognize what beauty in a beautiful trans woman looks like.
It's actually funny. I've talked about this a lot with friends, but I guess I've never talked about it on the show. I've always thought about Femme Queen Face specifically as something that's sort of about, affirmation and reclamation of beauty ideals. And can you talk to me a little bit about sort of like what the category of face means for a Femme Queen and what it means in the scene?
What it means to us as women, okay? Because we're women, darling. It actually just allows you to feel that confidence that if the world haven't accepted your beauty, my family and my community is accepting my beauty. So we put so much work into who we are as people and as women, and it's a lifestyle for us. So, we strive to be perfection, and it means a lot to us from our souls, okay?
It's a thing that also Jason Prodigy says this a lot. Face of all the categories is lifestyle, right? Like you can do a few things and go and learn how to vogue, or maybe somebody can teach you how to walk, but like face is you have it or you don't. And there's things that you can do, but it takes a long time to you don't get your skin clear after, a week or something. Like it's a dedication to it, right?
Yes. It's a dedication to just living your life as being perfect. You want to be perfect. You want the skin to glow. Not only you want it to be clear, but you want to have a glow, a natural body glow from head to toe, that your skin, meaning that you have cleansed your body from the inside. And it's like walking in shoes of a model, and it's walking in the shoes of being on the cover of Vogue magazine, something that, we were told that would never happen to us. So I'm going to speak it into existence. I'm going to be on the cover of Vogue.
Well, I don't want to keep too long there, but I do want to ask you, what was your favorite moment on the show, Stasha?
My favorite moment, favorite moment. It's hard to really say what was my favorite moment because I think just being there with the kids and going through the journey together, that was like moments for me, Each day we took was a moment. Each thing we did was a moment, and it's a long-lasting moment for me.
Because you're not walking that much these days, well, you don't walk at all these days, is the family aspect really the reason that you stay involved with the scene?
Yes.
Milan, can you, obviously the last ball, you had, the New Way moment, and you even had, a situation where you got chopped, and I didn't know if you wanted to talk a little bit about what it was like walking, first of all, Virgin performance, New Way on television, which is insane, how you got so flexible, and just all about that moment in general.
So I was nervous walking walking any performance category on television, because in the ballroom scene, the girls get very, she's not even a performance girl, she walked runway. So girl, you can look me up. I have walked Virgin performance before the pandemic even started. The pandemic is what tried to stop the girl. So they said, no, girl, come on, get on this stage and finish learning. So walking Virgin New Way was like nerve-wracking, but my house, like, especially like Savion and Stasha and Egypt, like, they were like, your arm control is really good. You like, just stick with that. Stasha was like, girl, you are a model. Throw those poses in there. That's where, performance came from. So I found a comfort in just like my family believing in me. So then I was like, all right, let me just do some extra stretches every morning, every night, in between every practice, and get out there. That was my first time ever getting chopped in my life. So I was like completely gagging. And I don't even think I knew that I was chopped, because Egypt was like, oh, Milan, come on, let's go. And I'm still like in the pose, but I just felt, I felt like the judges were a bit, and I only say harsh because like this is a competition for $100,000. I don't want nobody to be given an easy shot, but I just feel like they were being a bit too critical on the virgins. So, and we weren't the only house that got chopped that I didn't agree. I didn't think that the Balenciaga should have got chopped either. I thought that Honey being like a very stunty Butch Queen Vogue femme, I was very, very, very excited to see her walk New Way and still be so fluid and so like soft in that manner. I didn't think that they deserved to get chopped either, but the judges was on one that night. They was feeling it. They was feeling it.
It was a stern set that night for sure. So we have two houses left, the House of Balenciaga and the House of Miyake Mugler. I would like to hear from each of you. Which do you guys think is going to win?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that I'm still happy that the three houses that was there came from one house, right? Miyake Mugler, then the House of Balenciaga, then the House of Garçon. So all those houses were created and all came from the House of Mugler. So that's beautiful. That shows in itself that the knowledge and the creativity and the talent and the beauty all came from, we're all one. But when it comes to performance and productions, I would probably think that the Muglers probably would have a way better chance of winning because of performance-wise. Like everybody in that house vogues. You know what I'm saying? Like every single one of them put it on the floor. So I would probably go with the House of Mugler for that reason. And then I love them. You know what I'm saying? I love the House of Mugler and I love the House of Balenciaga. I have so many family members that's in the House of Balenciaga too, but definitely the House of Mugler for that.
What about you, Milan?
So when we left the show, I was like, all right, well, they got some Vogue divas here for the finale. So let's see what it's going to give because they have to go element for element. So the first thing I thought in my head was, well, I don't know who's Shane about to battle because all of those girls in Mugler Vogue, like that is their main category. If they're not all legends already is up and coming. They've been voguing for years. So my money was on the House Mugler, and I really think that they have a really good chance at bringing it because that final episode is it's almost like back to the beginning when they first asked to see all 5 elements. It's like now as individuals, we need to see all of y'all bring it. And I just think that, the Agas, they have 3 hardcore Butch Queen Vogue femmes. Cha-Cha's Runway mixed with a little Vogue. You have Shannon, which is Faith. So I feel like the Muglers just have a better chance to seeing that all 5 people from their team are Vogue girls. My money is definitely on Mugler.
This is my last question. Outside of the House of Garçon, looking back over season 1 and season 2, what house do you think went home too fast? Like who should have stuck around for a little longer?
Oh, I still feel this way. The House of West. The House of West.
Period.
And that's on period.
Period.
If they have an All-Stars, anything like that, call Garçon, call House of West, call the Scottish bag, call the Ninjas bag. Like, listen, we got some things to do. We can bring this back and give everybody a fair shot. Okay? Bring the girls back.
Right. What about you, Stasha?
Well, I was definitely looking forward to the House of West because I was like, this is a voguing house, baby. They're going to carry. But I just don't know what happened. But I do think that they did go home a little too soon. But if they cast a All-Stars, baby, they need at least up to 7 to 10 people they need to cast. Because if they let me bring up to 10 people, baby, I'm going to rumble with the girls. I'm going to rumble with the girls. Okay, do you hear me? Give me more than 5, and I'm definitely going to tear you apart. Okay, it's no shade. I'm a pageant girl, baby. You better Google me or put me on YouTube and pull up all my talents.
Well, on that note, thank you guys both so much for coming to the Let Out. I have loved having you on, and I look forward to seeing you hopefully at a ball or maybe at a Garçon meetup sometime. If Twiggy will have me again.
We would love that.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much, Michael. It's been amazing talking with you.
Yes, Michael, thank you so much for having us, and we really appreciate the Let Out, baby. It's the Let Out, honey. It's the legendary Season 2 Let Out with what? Milan and Stasha Garçon.
Thank you so much to the Face Blueprint, Godmother Stasha Garcon, and the long-legged diva Milan Garcon from a house that showed us what it truly means to have staying power. But now it's time for the let out moment where I pick the snippet of the show that will be stuck in my head for the foreseeable future. Do not try to argue with me on this. This week, the panel was a stern set. They were just not seeing it for the houses that were left and started chopping indiscriminately. At one point, they didn't even see it for each other and got into a back and forth on stage about who should and shouldn't have been chopped. If you've ever really been to a ball, you'll know. This was ballroom. Let's take another listen, and I'll see you next time on The Let Out.
I don't get Tiffany chop.
Why you don't get my chop?
I don't think it was deserved. I don't think a chop.
I don't think it was deserved either.
Girl, they trying to teach you something.
Well, tell us why you chopped them, baby.
Okay, first of all, I felt the old way was not classic enough. I remember the old days, okay? I was there in the 1990s. That was like, here we go, we doing our shit, this our routine. Like, no, bitch, get the fuck out of here with that.
Although they were virgins, like this
That's
is their
their
first
first
I
time
don't care
ever.
if you were a virgin. When I was a virgin, I was throwing that thing. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn.
Miss Tiffany Haddish is feeling it.
I knew something was gonna happen today. I knew something was gonna happen today, bitch.
I don't know what she was looking for, but it wasn't old way and new way. That was.
It was Old Way and New Way. Old Way,
Lay
New
on
Way,
me.
energy.
No, I'm saying I don't
What
think
do you
Tiffany was
think?
looking for old way and new way. She was looking for a Kiki
I'm
and a
not
He.
lying.
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
a liar.
She just likes to punch the bull.
Play that shit. It's a difference. I don't play that.
Where was you in 94?
I was born in
Well, as
95.
much-
I wasn't
That
born
part.
yet.
As much
Exactly.
as y'all, hey,
Exactly.
judges.
Y'all bitches is being disrespectful, honey. This is a ballroom show. We already chose
guys.
who won and who lost. On to the next category.
This is ballroom. Period.
The Let Out is produced by HBO Max in partnership with Spoke Media. Make sure to stream episodes of Legendary and The Let Out on HBO Max. If you've seen the finale, go ahead and listen to us on HBO Max. If not, we'll be in your podcast feed in the next few days. Tell us all your thoughts about the departure of the House of Garcon over at Legendary Max on Instagram. I'm your host, Michael Street. You can find me at Michael Street on Instagram. For Spoke Media, our producer is Kelly Koff with help from Hebron Mendez, Alicia Force, Brigham Mosley, Janielle Kastner, and myself. Original music and sound design by Evan Arnett. Special thanks to Clay Kim and Ariel Mejia. Our executive producers are Aaliyah Tavakolian and Keith Reynolds. See you next time.